Sri Lanka completely surprised us, but after spending over 2 months travelling around the country, there are so many things that we wish we knew before we came. Like which beach towns are actually worth your time, what local food you absolutely have to try, and which safari parks we'd probably avoid if we did this trip again. But the biggest thing, knowing when to come. Sri Lanka actually has 2 different monsoon seasons. So while one side of the country can be sunny and beautiful, the other might leave you completely drenched and having a terrible time. So in this video, we're sharing the 17 things we genuinely wish someone told us before traveling to Sri Lanka.
Alrighty, tip number 1 is you need a visa to travel here. Us as Australians, we had to organise one 2-3 days in advance. It costs 50 USD, super simple system, but this country is not like places like Thailand where you can just arrive and hop straight into the country. One other thing that we did figure out is you can extend that visa for another 30 days. We had to do this, but this took a little bit longer. So if you do want to extend your visa, I would probably do that ASAP once you're in the country. We had to wait about a week before we received our confirmation, but then after that, we were good to go.
Tip number 2 is understand that Sri Lanka has 2 different monsoon seasons, and depending on where you go, really depends on the weather and the time of year. So if you're wanting sunshine for your trip and you're wanting beaches, we would head down south. So the south has super dry weather from November through to April. The first time we went to Sri Lanka, we were there in May, and then the second time we were there in April, and we didn't really experience much rain at all, but it was definitely leading into the rainy season. We had some on the tail end. In saying that though, they don't get full monsoon. So from April all the way through to about October, November, it's called their wet season, but it's not like India here where it's like fully raining all the time. You're gonna get some, heavy rainy patches, but then other times it can be quite sunny as well. So if you don't mind a little bit of rain, it actually could be a really good time to go to Sri Lanka through that wet season because you're gonna have less crowds and it might be a little bit less expensive. However, there is also a side of Sri Lanka, so the east coast, that is dry when the south coast is wet. So from that April through to November, if you're there and you want to avoid the rain completely, you can go the east coast. So you've got Aragambe, you've got Trincomalee, and you can stay completely dry there as well. So it's actually pretty cool. Throughout the whole year, you can kind of coast along the coast, the south and east, and stay completely dry.
Tip number 3 is make sure you organise your internet. Sri Lanka is not fantastic yet. There's definitely good places, like we found places that have Starlink for work, which is awesome. But for getting around, you do need your own SIM. So one way you could do it is get an eSIM before you go. We choose Holoflight, we're not sponsored, but it is a great app and it's super easy. You just basically book the date you arrive and then you have your eSIM available. You can also get an eSIM at the airport, although if you get them at the airport, they're a little bit more expensive.
Tip number 4 is that you're going to want to take note of these beach towns in particular because they are our favourite. So the first one is Hiriketia. If you've been following us for a while, you know that we absolutely love Hiri. It is the perfect beach town. It's got an amazing little cove and surf break, awesome cafes, awesome restaurants, and just amazing vibes. So if that's up your alley, definitely add Hiriketia. Another one that we did fall in love with was Ahangama. So our first trip when we went there, we didn't spend enough time and we didn't really understand what was so good about it. Second time we went, we loved it. We get it. It's so cool. It's got awesome cafes, a massive stretch of beach, and like so many bars and cafes along the beach, and it's just so cool. So they're our top 2. Also, another one that you could check out and that has if you love surfing is Aragambe. So this is on the east coast.
And Aragambe has actually only got a really short season because most people flock there when the surf is really good. And so what you'll find, and what we found when we went there earlier this year, was that lots of the shops were closed and it was still beautiful and sunny, but it just didn't have all the action that you would expect in a beach town in Sri Lanka. Tip number 5 is Sri Lanka might seem small, but it can take quite a while to get around. So some places, like for example, if you go to Aragambe, you have to go quite a big way around to get there. So it can take, 6 to 8 hours to get there from Colombo. The other thing is if you want to hire a tuk-tuk, which a lot of tourists do and which we did, you will find that first of all, you can't go on the highway or the freeway. And secondly, when you put your time into Google Maps or put your location in the Google Maps, it's going to take you double.
Yeah, expect double.
Expect double. The tuk-tuk is slow. It is a very beautiful and scenic drive, but it's going to take you a while.
Yeah, just make sure you add and factor that time in. Tip number 6 is to know all of your transport options. Now, Sri Lanka does have Uber, which is awesome, and it's super easy to use. You can get cars, you can get private cars, you can get tuk-tuks and everything on there. So when we arrived in Sri Lanka, we actually just jumped straight onto Uber. We got a car to drive us down the south, and then he actually became our driver for the whole trip. So we got his number. He was awesome, so we'd recommend definitely doing that. So definitely download Uber for your trip, or if you want to use the local one, you can download an app called Pick Me. It's really similar. It's got a little bit cheaper prices. Your second option to get around is by the local buses. Now, we have not done this, but they are terrifying. They are so scary, so fast, so loud. Like, you will notice them. You'll be walking down the street and they will just hoon past you, and then buses will hoon past buses. Terrifying, but they are super cheap. I think they are like less than $1. You just hop on, hop off. They stop and start wherever you want to. Like, pretty much you can hail them down wherever you go. So if you want to have a bit of a local feel and, like, you know, a local adventure, we definitely would not recommend catching buses with luggage. Like, if you're trying to get on the bus with like 4 or 5 bags, hell no. But if you've just got a backpack or like something light, then it could be a really fun adventure. And then lastly, of course, are trains. So there are 2 main kind of train routes. You can go from Colombo all the way down south along the beach coast, which is beautiful. Otherwise, you've got the train that runs from the inland. So that's like from Ella all the way through to Kandy, which we did as well. We're going to speak a bit more about that in detail in later tips in the video, but it's definitely one that you need to do. It's so scenic and so beautiful.
Tip number 7, and honestly my favourite, you got to try all the food. Food is the number 1 in general, but the food in Sri Lanka is fantastic. So number 1 is rice and curry. You're going to get this everywhere. Everyone does their own little styles, but basically you got your rice and a few different curry dishes, and then they'll have papadums or maybe some bread as well to go with it.
So usually you get like chicken, rice and curry. So you get your meat and then all of your littles, and it comes out with like 8 or 9 different bowls. Amazing. So good.
It's really, really good. And yeah, you got to try them all over the place because they all differ. Number 2 is kottu. You need to try this. It is super cheap. You can get it everywhere. They chop up roti and then they fry it with a whole bunch of like spices and chicken and all this other stuff.
Kind of like pad thai or like noodles.
Yeah, it's kind of like noodles because do they even they do it on a hot plate? It's basic,
So it kind of has the look and consistency of noodles, but it's roti. It's so good. There's also one called dolphin kottu, which is very interesting. We thought that it was actually dolphin, but it's not. I don't know. There's no meat in it, but they call it dolphin kottu because they use a special type of roti that like swims like a dolphin in the pan.
Yeah, apparently.
We didn't see it.
It tastes the same. We did eat it.
We did eat it. We didn't see the dolphin. We didn't see
the dolphin. No. But it was a funny experience. The other thing that I really want you guys to try is the yogurt here. So buffalo curd, you'll see these on the side of the road, but basically they make them in these clay pots and they make these dailies.
This is the terracotta bowl they come in. So if you see these on the side of the road, pick it up because they're so tasty. And they last like 2 or 3 days. They're so fresh.
It is the creamiest yogurt you will ever try, and they usually serve this with honey. It's or treacle they call it, and it is really, really tasty. Alongside these, they also sell in the middle of Sri Lanka. They also sell red bananas, which are my favourite type of bananas. I think they're the creamiest, most sweet bananas you can have.
He's very passionate about his bananas.
Yeah, I hope someone doesn't trim that little bit and put that on the internet. But yeah, that's definitely something you got to try.
And then lastly, you have to try an egg hopper. These are my absolute favourite. It's like a kind of like a pancake-like consistency, but it kind of pops up and then they put an egg in the middle and it's fantastic. You can have it with curry, you can have it with it by itself. Oh, I'm forever dreaming about egg hoppers. They're so good. I've been waiting 14 years for this egg hopper. Oh. Tip number 8, a little bit more on food. We're going to give you some recommendations for some restaurants that you must try when you're there. Now, these are mostly for the South Coast because we did spend most of our time down the south. So firstly, we're going to start with a hangama and we're going to recommend 2 that you must try. The first one is called brine. I don't know how you would really describe this. Maybe modern modern
Western food.
Modern Western food. So it's not typical rice or curry or like, Sri Lankan cuisine.
But it's still good.
It's so yummy. It's like veggies, meat, and it's brand new. And the chef there, I think she also owns a restaurant called Emily's in Arangambe and has awesome reviews there. So if you're heading that way, definitely check that out.
We got recommended that one so much.
Yeah, so many times. But Brian is awesome. And then a second one in Hangama is Kalage. This is like traditional Sri Lankan, and it's in like an olden Portuguese style house. Amazing curries. We absolutely loved it. I forget specifically what we had, but Tice will put some videos up on the screen here because it was 10 out of 10.
The food was great and the vibe there is awesome. We didn't get to sit outside because it was raining, but if you do get to, they just have this cute as backyard, little lights hanging everywhere, and it's just awesome. Moving on to Hiriketia, and that's down the south, the place that we love the most. It has so many awesome restaurants, but we're not going to list them all. So go check out a video here on Hiri, but the one that you have to go to is called Raz. It is perfect for sunset. Go there at 5 o'clock, book in advance because they're booked out all the time. Sit on the steps, order the pork curry, order the pumpkin curry, and you're going to have a great time.
The drinks are phenomenal there as well. And then another one is actually the same owners as Raz, is called Smoke and Bitters. This is on the other side of Hiri. We went there. The first time it was okay. Second time, phenomenal. It was so good. Cocktails are great. I can't even remember what we had there too. We had some amazing
we had a goat curry and it was, all the food's really good. I think there's this one smoked pork thing which we weren't sold on, and that's why we didn't get it this time actually. So the last time we got this smoked pork, and to be honest, it just tasted like ham hock. But all the rest of it was fantastic, and the cocktails are
and
banging.
Just the vibe, the sunset, it's just really, really cool. Yeah. Also, another cafe that you must try in Hiri is called Makoha. It's honestly so good. It's run by an Aussie guy, and breakfast is great, and coffee is just like Melbourne-style, beautiful Australian coffee. You will love it. Yeah.
Bonus 2 restaurants, and then we'll move on. Okay, one is called Tangal Rice and Curry. This is in Tangal. So if you're moving up the south coast past Hiri, then I would stop there and organise a dinner there. It is crazy. They have like, I would say 18.
Yeah, maybe even 25 different curries. And it's kind of buffet style, but they cook it in front of you. So it opens at 7, or 7:30. You can't go earlier than that, but they do a cooking demonstration for maybe half an hour, and then they serve you up all of these different curries. They're all veggie. There's no meat there, but
you can ask for meat actually. You can organise meat in ahead, so if you message him and he'll organise meat, and they cook it all in the traditional way. So they light the fire with the wood, and then they cook on the clay stove. So it's a really, really cool experience. The final one that you have to go to, it's a bit rogue, but Isle of Gelato, phenomenal. Sri Lanka. I would never have expected.
The best ice cream, honestly. There's so many different chains as well. I think there's like 5 or 6 different chains, so you can't miss it. They're in Ella, they're in Ahangama, they're in Hiri, they're in Colombo. Go get it everywhere you go.
Which one are they getting?
So good, all
Which
of them.
one are they getting?
I can't remember the name.
Grail.
The Holy Grail.
You got to get the Holy Grail.
Yes.
It is
so yum. It's
phenomenal.
like chocolatey and just heaven. Tip number 9 is to know that sometimes you do need to dress respectfully in Sri Lanka. So in certain parts, especially in the inland, like not along the beaches, or even when I was in Unawatuna and I was walking through just like the bush one morning on a bushwalk, and I was just wearing short shorts and a crop top, the people were kind of looking at me quite strangely. So there are certain areas where you still should cover up. You shouldn't be walking in your bikinis or, on the back of a scooter in your bikinis if you're not at the beach. So always wear, clothes if you're not actually sunbaking on the beach. Otherwise, dress up appropriately, like, maybe cover your shoulders or cover your knees, especially if you're going into like sacred places too.
Number 10 is how to avoid getting sick. This is the same anywhere in Asia or anywhere when you travel the world. Don't drink the water. The water is not usually good for drinking unless it's boiled. And make sure you just eat the food that's cooked in front of you. That's the best bet. Anything that's like left out for a really long time can be a little bit dangerous.
Rice. I never really knew that rice was one, but if you're eating like days old rice, no good.
No, that's actually the most likely hood of your getting salmonella.
Tip number 11 is to stay at homestays if you can. When we're booking things, we usually look at booking.com and Airbnb, and we don't usually get to experience homestays. But if you can, we found one in Hiri the first time, and we loved it because you're amongst, either a family or the culture somehow, and they usually include breakfast, which is really, really cool. So when we were in Hiri the first time, it included like this full traditional Sri Lankan breakfast, and it was so nice. We got to meet the
Family.
the family that was cooking it, and it was just really, really special. So a little tip sometimes as well, if you go onto Airbnb or if you're on booking.com, just tick include breakfast, and they usually come up with all the places that you can stay in homestays instead.
Tip number 12 is pick your safari correctly. Everyone is going to say go to Yala National Park, but this is probably not the best bet if you're coming in peak season. We went there in the off season. Yes, we saw leopards. Yes, we saw elephants because it's got the biggest concentration of animals, but it was already getting busy. So as soon as we arrived at the leopards, maybe 5, 6 jeeps rocked up after us. And that happens to a much bigger extent during the peak season, and people say it's pretty unbearable when you go there at that time. So there's a couple of other ones that you can go to. You can go to Udawalla, and this actually has the highest concentration of elephants. It also has leopards, so you can go and check that out, and you'll still have an awesome time, way less people. Or you can even go to a heap of the other ones like Wilpattu, we did in the northeast. Super quiet. We still saw elephants, sloth bears with a little baby sloth bear. It was very, very cute and a really enjoyable experience. And bonus tip, if you just want to see elephants, and I'm not suggesting you go and interact with elephants that are wild because that is dangerous, but if you drive from Yala up the centre in the highway, you'll go through a national park, and most of the time there are elephants on the road. The same as when we drove from Hiriketia all the way to Arugumbe. Just before you go to Arugumbe, and also in and around Arugumbe, there's wild elephants. So you just see them. So if elephants are the only thing on your radar,
do that drive.
Do that instead.
Tip number 13 is to do the Yala to Kandy train. Now, if you're actually heading to Sri Lanka soon, like if you're watching this and you're going like next week, just check if it's up and running, because there was a big typhoon last year, and when we were there in May, just gone, the train wasn't running, or parts of it were not running. So hopefully by the time your trip rolls around, it is in full swing, because it is honestly so beautiful. It's such a scenic ride. You're driving all the way up. It takes about 4 to 6 hours depending on where you do stop and get off. We would recommend taking it all the way from Yala to Kandy. It's absolutely stunning. Yeah. If you do want that typical, hanging out the door photo or video, just be careful, because people do fall, but you can actually ask some people working on the train. They might take a quick video or photo for you. If you do that as well, just make sure you give them a little tip, because they're not helping you for free. Yeah. And just another tip on that, if you are booking ahead of time or in person, just book second or third class, because that way the doors and the windows actually open.
Tip number 14 is make sure you prepare an international driver's permit before you come over. This is just a translation of your license. So if you want to ride a scooter in Sri Lanka, you should have a scooter license in your own country, and then an international driver's permit, and then you'll be able to hire a scooter. Now, I'm not saying you won't be able to when you get to Sri Lanka, but if you want to do it the right way, that's how you do it. Secondly, if you want to hire a tuk-tuk, you need to kind of organise this a little bit in advance, because the licensing is a bit different. You actually need a Sri Lankan driver's license to drive that tuk-tuk. Now, the way you can get one of these is talk to the tuk-tuk hire company. All you have to do is send a couple of photos, and it's super easy, and they'll organise everything for you.
Tip number 15 is that Sri Lanka is not really a party destination. So if you're expecting Thailand, full moon party vibes, or if you're going there to absolutely go crazy, then you might be a little bit let down, because there's not a bunch of nightclubs, things aren't open till like midnight or 2 a.m. and there's not like raging crazy parties. When you're in Hiriketia, there are some jungle parties, and I know that they are opening up a big club in the main area, which is very, very sad for us. It's like a 4-story club, so maybe that place is going to turn into a bit of a party vibe. But other than that, you're not really going to find the party scene.
Tip number 16, and we're getting to the pointy end here, don't miss Sigiriya Rock. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is insanely beautiful. Probably one of the most spectacular places we've been, and it is an ancient garden, basically. So go check that out. I would hike it in the morning as early as it opens, because you're going to see it at sunrise and there's way less people. And secondly, it gets really hot during the day. Otherwise, if you don't want to pay the $35 USD to hike Sigiriya, you can hike the neighbouring rock, which is called Lion Rock, I'm pretty sure. Also, super beautiful, and I would do both if I were you. You can go there for sunrise. It is epic for sunrise and such a cool place to sit. you will enjoy both, and that one's only 1,000 rupees.
And then lastly, tip number 17 is that cash is still pretty king in Sri Lanka. Yes, a lot of places are now taking card, and like especially in places like Hiri and Hangama, you're going to be able to go to restaurants and cafes and pay with card, but we just wouldn't count on it. So always carry cash with you if you can. Most of the ATMs will work with an international card there too. Do know you might pay a small fee, and the maximum withdrawal amount is around 30,000 rupee, but always carry some cash with you, especially if you are wanting to just get some local tuk-tuks without, using the app or anything. It's the way to go. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Now, lastly, if you are looking for a suggested itinerary for Sri Lanka, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow along, because we have one coming your way very soon.
Awesome.
See you in the next video.
Bye.